Yes, here we are, in loving memory of
Ralph John Jocelyn,
who was fatally wounded on January the 23rd, 1909, aged 10 years, erected by his fellow scholars at Ellesmead School. Very cold winter's morning in January 1909, about 10:30 in the morning. And as was usual at Schneermann's rubber factory in Chestnut Road, Tottenham, the wages were driven from the bank in Hackney back towards the factory by the owner's chauffeur. Two young Russians were either side of the factory entrance gates, each armed with a self-loading pistol of European make, something that in itself was unknown outside perhaps the military in this country at the time. They carried, again, this was quite a common thing with these anarchists when they did any of these robberies. They carried a lot of ammunition. It was subsequently found that perhaps they fired anything up to 400 rounds of ammunition during the ensuing chase. The police, a matter of yards away in the station, realized that something was on. Two PCs came out of the front door to see the two Russians running down Chestnut Road towards the railway line and to Tottenham Marshes. From then on, really the chase and what I would describe as a hue and cry began. They actually came into Mitchley Road where they reloaded, and the car literally turned the corner just as they'd finished reloading. And the people in the car were presented with a hail of bullets. Unfortunately, a 10-year-old boy received a stray bullet, and it was fatal. They actually passed along quite a high wall of the local dust destructor, which we would call the council depot these days. And there PC Tyler got within about 30 yards. Paul Hayfeld turned and fired one shot.
The chase, which had become most desperate, was continued with a splendid determination. The murderers proceeded over the footbridge spanning the Great Eastern Railway and then in a northeasterly direction to the west bank of the River Lee.
Now, they got to Salisbury Hall Farm. Hayfeld and Jacob took refuge behind a haystack, again firing at will at anybody who came within range. They then decided to make a break for it. A tram that had left Chingford on its way to the Baker's Arms at Leighton was trundling up the road.
Without a moment's hesitation, they commandeered an electric tram en route to the Baker's Arms, Lee Bridge Road. The driver stopped the car and rushed upstairs, leaving the conductor, who was forced, with the muzzle of the revolver at his head, to go to the controller and drive them with all speed. Also at this point, they were holding at bay a large crowd of pursuers.
They were exhausted. And Jacob successfully got over a wooden fence to a building site. Hayfeld couldn't manage the fence, being the much heavier set man, and he only had 2 bullets left, and he could see the policeman gaining on him, and he shot himself. Jacob then made across some open ground into a particular very small cottage called Oak Cottage, an early 19th century two-up, two-down cottage. They went up to the first floor bedroom where they knew Jacob had taken refuge.
At this juncture, PC 636 Charles Eagles and PC Charles Dixon CID rendered their service. Eagles fired twice and Cater once through the panel of the door.
Forensic evidence later, the coroner's court, bore out the fact that Jacob in fact shot himself. One shot finished him off, and in fact he was dead by the time they actually took him out into the street.